everybody, and welcome to another episode of Banter. You may notice we're in not the office.
Yep. Oh shit! What?
Surprise!
What the hell? Did you kidnap me and just wake me up right now?
Well, I was going to tell you, but then I was like, it'd be more fun to catch it on camera.
Yeah. So,
yeah, we're kind of in between offices at the minute.
our beloved set, which we had for a while, got a little bit outside our price range, even with the awesome support that we've received.
Yeah.
And it was one of those situations that happens very often in Ireland where we just couldn't come to an agreement. Everybody walked away peacefully and amicably. But
then we set fire to it.
Yeah, exactly. Then we just torched
That's
the
not
place
true.
to
I know these go out slightly delayed. If there happened to be a fire, I just really want to clarify that we didn't actually do it.
No, we didn't. We did not set the place on fire, but we had left. And we're between offices, so at the moment we're in my home house. But we're currently scouting for our new set, so
yeah. The set. A new office that we can also shoot a podcast in.
Yeah, the set, CET. And a Badger set.
A Badger set, I guess. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realise that's how you spelled it when you said it.
That's the problem with the English language, damn it.
So this is our first podcast back after returning from the Vancouver Badass Film Festival.
I've been to a few fests around the world now, and VBAFF 2 years in a row has been my favourite festival that I've ever been to.
There's something cool about the atmosphere, and I think part of that was we're gonna, this podcast, as a heads up, is gonna be entirely about
Vancouver Badass,
because it was just such a cool experience, and obviously because we travelled over for it, we just wanted to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, and plus because some of you beautiful patrons even happened to be there, so...
Kelly! We're talking about you!
It's a case that we really... Plus, it's a festival that is growing, so we want to make everyone aware of just how badass the Vancouver Badass Film Festival actually is.
It's so funny because... badass is the term I use regularly.
I know, right?
And it's just it's one of those, oh man, did you meet her? She's so badass.
Yeah.
And then, talking about how great the festival is, I continuously use badass without being well, obviously the name implies.
Yeah. but it's funny because it just naturally does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because it's the only type of festival you'll go to, in my opinion, that's outside of Burning Man, where you might get to see people have sparks showered on their naked body and somebody staple things to themselves in ungodly places and have half-naked women dressed as nuns parading bottomless on stage.
Yep.
It's just a festival that is as badass as the name implies it is.
The festival is as much an experience as it is a film festival.
True that. And it's interesting just to see it, even 2 years in a row. My first experience was last year. Even just the growth in the festival in 1 year has been phenomenal. A lot of the same faces.
I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions about last year because obviously I wasn't there last year. I only kind of...
I was very lucky to go last year. It was not planned. It was a last minute thing. But yeah, go ahead. Shoot last year.
Was it in the same venue last year?
It was in the Rio, yeah.
Okay, so that's the Rio on...
Broadway. East Broadway, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful theatre that is currently funding on Indiegogo a campaign called Save the Rio. Having been in this place a few times now, I implore anyone, even if you don't live there, but you're you want to support an incredible art house, anything you can give, please give to the Save the Rio fund, because Corrine and everyone at the Rio has done an incredible job of making that one of the coolest venues I've ever been in.
And if you're in Vancouver in the coming months, as far as I know, it's still happening. Kevin Smith is going to come to do a talk and try and raise funds for Saving the Rio.
There's literally, if you're in Vancouver, there's literally events every week at the moment for Vancouver Badass, or for Save the Rio. I just associate the two because that's...
I know.
But...
just a little bit about the Rio. I never been until this year. This year was my first experience of the Rio. And in general, the Rio as a theatre is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The Rio as a venue is amazing because when I saw originally that there was a stage in front of the the screen, I was like, oh no, that's gonna be shit. Like it's gonna get in the way. It's gonna be awkward. But the way they have it done is like you can't actually tell how deep the stage is and how much is there, and it's just so well laid out.
It's an incredibly deceptive stage. Like even going up on it, you don't you don't realize A, how high it is, and B, because when you're looking at the screen, it's not there.
Yeah.
It's invisible.
Yeah, you don't even notice
it's your crop bars.
Yeah. It makes it seamless though. No, it genuinely, like, it didn't interfere with the screen at all. The sound was amazing.
Sound is one. I remember when Retribution played that. That's the one reason I wish you had been there last year.
The score.
The score was just thumping. You could feel it in your chest. I was like, we had a similar experience at Horathon. But yeah, just that, like, the bass just traveling through. I saw people around me being like, oh yeah.
But yeah, no, it's amazing. And yeah, just if you can, do whatever you can to save the Rio.
It's worth it. I'm definitely intending on putting as much cash as I can afford into the Save the Rio fund, because I just don't want to see such an incredible venue go.
I agree.
But yeah, going back to to VBAFF itself.
Yes.
Just a little bit of my experiences from my first year.
Mm-hmm.
I went out. I was lucky enough to stay with Tristan Risk and Josh Burns, who were kind enough to opening their house to me and Jill Gavergesian.
Mm-hmm.
So we had our little film commune. It was great. We partied non-stop with the Luchagors and people like Dre Boulay and all the Vancouver badass crew like Mark Boyley and David Abusafe. A lot of these people will tie back in to the stories about this year. It was a big shame for me that Jill Gavergesian couldn't be there this year, because Jill is an incredible filmmaker, an incredibly close personal friend of mine, and just a great person to have at any event like that. I've never met her, but she seems really cool. And I just wish that BFF Girls or 42 Counts had been ready, because I'm sure if one of them had gone in, she'd have been there. But her music video for I'm Ready by Logie played at the festival. Yes. So that was really cool. At least there was a little bit of Jill at this year's fest. Still represented. Yep. So then that's kind of, as I say, I had those experiences last year. So going from last year, like what was the big kind of step up this year, or was there something that happened this year you weren't expecting, or that? Oh, there was a lot of things that happened this year that I wasn't expecting. But I guess the change from 1 day to 2 days is a pretty big one. Oh, okay. It was only 1 day last year. Yeah, it was only 1 day last year. I didn't know that. And it probably wouldn't seem like the biggest, deal. Well, last year what I think they did was they had the screening on 1 day and then just the awards on the next day. Whereas we had some features and things on the second day as well, and shorts. But yeah, in terms of that, it just felt bigger. It felt like there was a bigger audience. Mm-hmm. It felt like there was a lot more. It felt like the crowd is starting to realize what badass is. Yeah. The crowd that was there was very much into the whole thing. Yeah. Whereas last year, I don't know if there was as many people that knew what to expect. Even though, as I say, this year I knew what to expect, and I was still caught off guard. But yeah, it's just, you can see it. I imagine that by next year it'll have grown again, and it's a funny thing that even if I have nothing in there next year, it's just a festival that I want to go to year on year for the rest of my life. Yeah. More than any of the other festivals that I've been to. Even though I love a lot of other festivals, this is the one that I know I can't live without now. Yeah. Yeah, no, and I guess from my perspective, it was my first year, so I didn't actually know that it was only 1 day last year. I just assumed it was 2 days. I didn't realise. So from my perspective, I really enjoyed the genre film aspect of it. Yeah. That was kind of cool, because going in that all of them are going to be kind of similar enough that you can enjoy everything. Yeah. Like, and they're going to be weird. You know what to expect. Definitely. There was a lot of weirds throughout the festival, which was brilliant, because sometimes it was like expected weird, like the one with the clown and the balaclavas. It was like, I know this one's gonna be weird. I'm strapped in and I'm ready. And then there was a lot of like unexpected weird. Like for me, like Time Heals No Wounds was one like that, where it was just like it seemed very straight at the beginning. Yeah. And then it got so madcap. It was great. It is like a lot of other festivals. You might go to, just as an example, I've never been, but you go to TIFF, you might see something in a block between, a really tense, dramatic piece about somebody with a terminal illness, and something else, a comedy on the other side of it with like a weird horror in the
guy
middle.
Who was popcorn farts.
Yeah, and then with that horror film in the middle, and it can be somewhat disjointed.
That was the popcorn farts. Oh, that was the horror.
But you know, where some festivals, when they're not genre specific, a genre film can kind of get lost in amongst everything.
Yeah.
Whereas I love these festivals that give a platform to genre films.
And the cool thing is it builds an audience because the audience are going because they're like, okay, well my film is in there, and because it's all going to be similar, it's like I know I'm going to enjoy more of what I see.
Exactly.
So I really appreciated that, and that was kind of...
That's another thing I love about Vancouver Badass Film Festival is that a lot of the people that attend are filmmakers, actors, producers, writers, directors, everything. And you're just hanging out with a lot of other filmmakers. So you get a lot of honesty, you get a lot of feedback, you get a lot of discussion, which I think you get a lot of potential for co-productions, potential for working together. And that's just what I experienced a little bit of that again last year, but a lot more of it this year.
Yeah.
So... And then you get to meet people that you've never met before, like Kelly Ron, in the flesh.
Kelly! We got our badger hugs in the Rio.
And you get to do Irish car bombs with them in
I'm so rich and I didn't go out that night. I was really hoping I could hang out with Kelly one day and stuff, but it didn't work out, unfortunately.
But yeah.
You got badger time with Kelly.
I did. I knocking shots in the Stormcrow at like 12 midnight or whatever time it was.
Oh, Stormcrow you went to?
Yeah, it was the other one, it was the ale house, not the tavern.
Okay.
Around, I don't know. It was the uptown one, not the one that we kept frequenting.
Oh, okay. Frequenting.
Yeah.
So it was great to obviously to meet Kelly and give that badger hug we've been talking about for so long, and
then you got to meet people as well, like you got to meet like Josh Burns.
I'd never met Josh before. I'd heard of this dragon that Tristan was dating, but never got to meet him.
As you say, the funniest thing with Burns, maybe this will hurt his rep, but is that he's just such a genuinely sweet, wonderful, nice guy.
He's an amazing dragon.
He really is. He's the best dragon I've ever met.
He's the best dragon I've ever met. He's the friendliest dragon I've ever met.
He's up there with Zilla, actually. Zilla's a pretty amazing dragon as well.
Zilla likes to think he's a dragon.
Zilla's the second biggest bearded dragon in the world. So for clarity, I stayed as I say.
For clarity, Josh doesn't have a beard.
I stayed with Tristan and Burns last year, and then this year stayed with them again. And since then, they've acquired. So their house is the House of Hiss.
I love that title.
7 snakes. Well, 6 snakes and one they're fostering.
Yeah.
They have a bearded dragon. They have a big fat orange cat.
Garfield.
And then they have a monitor lizard named Chub.
Which turns out isn't the same as a guard dog. When I was told it was a monitor lizard, I was like, when the
he would be a pretty good guard dog.
He'd be a pretty good guard dog.
And Jub made an appearance at the festival as well. Mm-hmm. It was his first time on stage. He was a little bit nervous.
He had wings.
He did have tiny wings. You can actually see some pictures of that on the Vancouver Badass Facebook page.
We'll put a link down below.
Yeah,
check it
out. So yeah,
it was actually my first year meeting Gigi and the Luchagor crew.
The Luchagor team, which is always a fun experience.
Yeah.
I ended up with many a hangover last year because of the Luchagors, and I ended up with double the amount of hangovers this year because I made a commitment this year that I would just stay permanently slightly buzzed so that I wouldn't get a hangover for the whole time I was there.
Good plan.
Yeah,
Did it work?
It did actually. Even when I was getting 3-4 hours sleep, I was just getting back up, maybe having a shot of rum in Tristan's house, and then you get downtown. If I lived in Vancouver, I think I'd be an alcoholic.
Yeah. Or permanently buzzed.
Definitely permanently buzzed. But whenever we were in the Rio, I would be like, I'm not gonna get a pint, but what I'll do is I'll just get a boozy coffee. I'll just get a Bailey's coffee just to keep that buzz running. But yeah, the Luchagors can party like no other.
Yeah. It's funny because last year when you came back, you talked about how the Luchagors were like the Canadian Badgers.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. And then I met them this year, and I'm like, I completely get it.
Yup.
Completely.
I mean, they're just the same kind of ethic, the same kind of love of working with the same group and creating cool stuff. They're very much, even if it isn't their official slogan, they're very much make cool shit with cool people too.
And release it.
And release it.
because I think the film that they had showing at the festival was Bestia, which nice, which was pretty much like something we would do at home. Like they were like, we want to just go make something. It's like, so let's go.
And which can be hard in Vancouver because there's a lot of permit issues and things like that in the city. So they kind of made that decision, as you say, something we would do here, which is, well, let's just go to the woods in the middle of nowhere and shoot something.
Yeah.
That's how the Three Don'ts got born.
Pretty much.
Let's go to the woods and shoot something.
But it was that ethos of like, let's just go make something.
Yeah.
Because Luchagora have made big productions. They've worked with Warner Brothers on...
Stage 13 official production on La Quinceañera.
Yeah.
And they... Obviously, their first, well, not their first short, I think it was about their 6th, 7th maybe, but like El Gigante was a massive success on the festival circuit. Yeah. I think it won about 30 awards. It won an enormous amount of awards anyway, because it was incredible. I still reckon to this day that's one of the best short films I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And it's so funny. It's a little bit like with us because, yet again, a lot of reoccurring actors and things in their movies. And it's just interesting to see people like Matthias change so much between films like Days of the Dead and Elegante and Bestia and La Quinceañera, and just to see his evolution even as an actor is incredible. So Matthias obviously won Best Actor for Bestia, which was amazing and well deserved.
Well deserved.
And Luke won Best Cinematographer.
I disagree. That was not well deserved. Only because he took it away from me. No, I take it back. Bestia was stunning.
It was beautiful.
It was very nicely shot.
And then did they pick up? No, they didn't pick up Best VFX. That was somebody else. But
that was Time Heals No Wounds, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe so. But they picked up a couple of awards.
Yeah.
Multi-award winning, which was great to see. Well deserved. And there was some other. We got through Luchagore last year. I met people like. The Bad Cookie Productions team. Topher and Ariel, and then got to meet them again this year, and they were all part of Time Heals No Wounds, Luchagore, Bad Cookie, and I cannot remember the third production company's name, but there was a third one, and they were really nice. Jordan was the director, he was lovely, but I just can't remember the name of your production company. I'm sorry, get me a badge, that's how Ariel got me a number.
I said it to you when I was over there, I was like, Bad Cookie have their marketing down.
Yep.
It was like,
but yeah, so like, what's great, I think, what inspires me most and the reason I love returning to Vancouver Badass, well, one thing is that David and Mark are just such genuine supporters of what we do.
Yeah.
Because they're filmmakers too.
Exactly. And Mark was DOP on
Jack and Jill. That was brilliant.
So good.
And he also directed the short Lucy.
Yeah.
And you know, David's produced half of things that have come out of Vancouver.
Yeah.
And he's got cameos in everything as well.
Including the Suska sisters
Blood Drive
piece, Twin Pool.
Yeah, David is just, he's so supportive of the arts in Vancouver, and he doesn't actually look for anything back for it. It's just
not at all.
Pure, genuine support of the arts.
And even like he took a day out to drive us around Vancouver, awesome. and he didn't have to do that. Genuinely, like there was no will, like it wasn't like, well, we're only coming over if you drive us around. Yeah. It was like, no, it was like if you're over, he was like, I'd love to show you around Vancouver.
He took us to some great spots.
He drove us over the Deadpool Bridge.
That was amazing. We were like, can we get out and take pictures? He was like, no. Yeah. That's pretty frowned upon.
Yeah, definitely.
But you know, and then obviously, as I said, there's all those people who are involved with the festival, all the locals. But then what was great was meeting other international people. We got to meet Brock Keller, who directed Wolves Beyond the Timber.
Yeah.
He was such a lovely guy.
Very, very cool.
Wolves Beyond the Timber was not my favourite short film, and I told Brock this, but I really appreciated the visual aesthetic, the editing. He had such a small team on that short, and it looks incredible. And he's just such a nice guy.
Yeah, he was a great dude.
And then we met David Phillips, who produced Badville.
Yes.
Badsville, which was yet again a fantastic piece of cinema.
A great feature. Which is available on pretty much every platform other than
VOD.
Netflix. He said.
Pretty much. Am I getting a little overexposed now because of the sun?
Oh yeah, you are.
It's grand. We can fix it in post.
No,
right?
we can't.
God damn. Badsville is available on like every platform you can imagine.
Other than Netflix. I think Netflix was the only one.
Yeah. True. Very
It
true.
wasn't that.
But it was a great feature. David was a great guy. We spent a lot of time talking to him. And Dave...
It was really cool to get his feedback and stuff.
On the Three Don'ts.
Yeah, and even just talking to him about basically financing a feature with two relatively unknown leads.
That was an interesting conversation because it's... To put it in perspective, the day after the fest, we were told, you know, that it was a very close call for most badass feature film between the Three Don'ts and Badsville. And when I spoke to David Phillips about it, I mean, our budget was about 3,000 and their budget was a lot more.
Yeah.
Like 100 times that amount, roughly.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see that narrative played such a strong part in that. That it wasn't just down to the aesthetic or the production, like that it was.
And it wasn't. They didn't get funding because of big name.
Yeah, exactly.
They got funding because of what was on the page and what they could do with that. And
they got some great support from actors like Emilio Rivera and stuff. But so Badsville is really good. You should check it out. Won Most Badass Feature Film, and Ayla won Best Director for Elias Genster, who I got to meet briefly at the opening party, which was great because I was a hashtag proud backer of Ayla. So yeah, and yet again, I didn't get to see Ayla while I was there because it was the last night and I went out, and I'm going to be totally honest about that.
Yeah.
But and we, you know, Adam had just won his award and stuff, which we should really talk about. But
what?
Really? But with Ayla, I haven't got to see it yet, but I'm sure I wouldn't have backed it if I didn't believe it wasn't going to be amazing.
Yeah, I saw the opening 15 or 20 minutes before I realised you weren't coming back from the bathroom. But yeah, no, it was
the Luchagors made me do it.
Luchagor made me
That's on a t-shirt that just says Luchagor made me do it.
Oh, definitely. Yes. We should pitch that one. GG. Pick of the festival. What was your favourite short?
Oh, favourite short. This is a tricky one.
That you saw. You can have 3.
Okay, 3. 3 is a lot
Top
easier.
3. And it doesn't have to be in a specific order.
Perfect. Time Heals No Wounds.
Nice.
Definitely in there. I absolutely loved Paint the Town Red. I thought it was so funny and so quirky and entertaining. Yeah. I really... Maybe it's because I know a lot of the people involved, but I enjoyed the crap out of that.
Yeah.
And Bestia. I love Bestia. I truly love it. Stunning little piece of cinema.
Yeah, I would probably put Mother of Beauty.
Fuck! No! Why did you leave out Mother of Beauty? No! Because I had to fight my corner on that because a lot of people were like, oh, I didn't like it. And I was like, I fucking thought it was unreal. What's the problem?
I thought Mother of Beauty was...
It was incredible.
It was fabulous. Again, I probably feel about that Mother of Beauty the way you do about Beastia because I thought it was spectacular.
Yeah.
It was probably my pick of the fest.
That's totally
and it's
fair.
not just because I know Tristan.
Yeah, it's funny.
It could have been anyone who was capable of doing that performance the way Tristan did.
Yeah.
It's not just because I know Tristan personally.
Yeah.
That performance was unlike anything I've seen Tristan do.
Oh, yeah, it was very... It was totally outside of her comfort zone.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, that was an incredible short.
Mother of Beauty. I would probably put Blood Sisters.
That was amazing too. I'm so glad we have different ones.
I know.
Because then it's like, Blood Sisters was probably the funniest short.
Was one of the funniest ones that was there. It was absolutely hilarious. And I'd probably pick Jack and Jill.
Oh, yeah, well, it was also incredible. I'm glad we had 3...
We had 3 different ones, yeah.
Yeah, because I loved all 3 that you talked about as well.
Yeah,
they were all great.
I liked yours as well, but I was like, those were the 3 that really, like...
It would have kind of sucked if we both had the exact same one, so I'm kind of glad now we got to kind of... Yeah, it's sweet. So literally, if you see any of those shorts floating about at any point in the future, check them out.
They come Badger recommended.
Yep.
They come with the Badger 2 claws up.
And then, obviously, one thing we haven't really touched on yet is what it was like getting to sit in the Rio. How many miles from home? 10,000, roughly?
We need the exact figure. From exactly where we are now to
to the Rio. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. Pass through Quebec.
Oh man, it doesn't tell you how far away it is. Fuck off, Google Maps.
This is a thumbs down for us for Google Maps.
Local time is 9 a.m.
It's about, I reckon it's got to be a minimum of 10,000 miles.
That sounds about right.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
So kind of
I
10,000
was
miles.
disappointed. I was hoping I could figure out
And
exactly.
But to be 10,000 miles from home, sitting in a theatre full of people and watching the Three Don'ts.
It's crazy.
It was.
It's so surreal to think. Like, you always describe it as a bunch of lads kicking the heads off each other in the woods in Clonlara.
There is no better description.
To be that at a core concept and to be watched in arguably one of the biggest cities in the world.
And to get, as David put it himself, the festival organizer, if there had been an audience reaction award, the Three Don'ts probably, because there was such an incredible atmosphere in the crowd.
Yeah.
That's the type of film that the Don'ts is. You watch something like Badsville and it's great but you sit there and you watch it and you kind of you don't really laugh, or because that's not the type of film it is. It's a film that moves you.
Yeah.
But the Don'ts is an audience participation, like hearing people shouting things like "fuck yeah," or that is what the Don'ts is about.
Hooting and hollering.
Hooting and hollering when stuff happens. And so to see that happen in the Rio, I have a couple of little clips that I videoed, and we might even drop them in, I can send them out to you,
definitely.
of just reactions from people to certain moments, which was just phenomenal. One of the worrying things was...
I found out, remember we were saying there was like a bit that people laughed at, that we were like, what why do people laugh there? It was Fanta. When we mentioned Fanta...
I guess because,
we were like, why is that
Get you a
funny?
nice cold glass of Fanta.
Yeah, burst out laughing.
Yeah, one of the worrying things was when the film started, there was no subtitles, and there was meant to be. So I was very unnerved for about the first 20 minutes of the film being on.
And I think a lot of the jokes didn't land in the first 20 minutes.
But there was a lot of Irish there as well. There was about 40 Irish people in the crowd.
Fiac's brother Barra, Fiac from Iris and Mersey Boys, his brother Barra came and brought a bunch of his friends as well.
And then, there was a load of Sasha... a guy from Limerick, brought 4 other Limerick people down. And one of my favourite things that was said to me after the festival was that guy, I can't think of his name, who was with Sasha, said, this film made me really nostalgic for home. Just hearing somebody call someone a gowl just brought me right back. And I was like, yes, goal achievement unlocked. But yeah, for the first 20 minutes or so, it was touchy.
Yeah.
And then... It was like people started to acclimatise to the lingo, acclimatise to the accents.
Yeah, I think like about 20 minutes in of listening to anybody talk, you get used to their accent, and then you're like, now I understand what you're saying.
We had some varying things, like people who English wasn't even their first language, like Matthias. He said, I understood about 60% of it, which I was like, that's still more than enough to get the Don'ts, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Tito, who runs the Anamorphics on a Budget YouTube channel and the Anamorphic Shooters group on Facebook, he actually came in attendance as well, and like that, English is also not his first language. He's from Brazil, and he got about 80%.
Yeah, and then a lady from Newfoundland who was with Kelly, who has the Newfoundland accent is very similar to the Irish accent, because that's where a lot of Irish settlers landed when they went to Canada. She understood everything because the accent was so similar. But yeah, to get that experience of watching it with that crowd, and
to hear like a theatre of like, because normally when we've screened the Don'ts, it's been friends, family,
strangers.
or locals to Limerick. And because a lot of the humour is very Irish in nature, it's like to hear a theatre of that laughing, it's like, oh yeah, awesome, we did a good job.
Yeah.
To hear a theatre of essentially strangers laughing at the same stuff, it's like, yes!
It does land, yeah. It was funny that we and then we had to get up and do a Q&A, which was a lot of fun.
When I realised how deep the stage was.
Yeah. But yet again, it was great to just get people asking. Some of the questions really took me off guard. Like Jason, who was the director of Jack and Jill, said the music was incredible, and where did we find it, and what music was it, which I thought was great, because we got to shout out to
Evan Murphy.
We got to shout out to Emma.
Composer.
We got to shout out to New Valley Wolves. Because to this day, I'm so proud of the music that is present in the Don'ts. So it was great to have that asked. It's just not expected at the same time. Because usually Q&As they're kind of predictable a lot of times. But yeah, and then so obviously during the awards we were incredibly nervous, but I had gone out there with the idea that we weren't possibly going to win anything. That was not why I had attended. It was not, oh, I'll be here to get an award. It was a case
I knew we were getting one.
I
thought we were getting two.
I did say to Adam beforehand that if anybody was likely to get one, it was him.
Yeah.
And I was delighted. Yet again, I'll try and send you the clip of Adam winning. I have it on my phone. It's just a great moment. My favourite thing about it is that Samantha Mack, host of the award ceremony, said, "Let me give you your award in Irish. Fuck, award, fuck, cunt, fuck." Which I thought sums up the three notes pretty beautifully.
Yeah. A couple of her posts from the Vancouver Badass.
I don't understand what they're saying.
But I can't wait for them to take their shirts off.
Yeah, she was disappointed that they didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, yet again, just getting all that feedback, and even people coming up and telling you the things that they didn't like is just as important as the people coming up and telling you what they did.
I thought, was it Martin from Jack and Jill? Tall guy, Mark? Michael.
Yeah.
Fuck, sorry.
He was the one guffawing the whole way through it, man.
Yeah,
It was hilarious.
He loved it, and the coolest thing he said about it was he was like you had good pacing, you had good characters, you had good action, you had good comedy. It's like the one thing you were missing was like that polish that comes with having a budget, and it was like I agree.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
That was so cool to hear from a complete stranger.
The idea that like we got everything right, but even still nobody was willing to fund us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the start of it. That's the way it should be. Your first feature should be a labour of love. I totally believe that. And I mean, Jason, who we met out there as well, his first feature.
Jason was such a legend.
His first feature, The Evil in Us, which yet again is available on iTunes and everywhere. It's great. I own it 3 times.
Give me one.
One of them's digital, one of them's Blu-ray, and one of them's DVD. And I'm not giving you the Blu-ray. And you don't want the DVD.
I don't want the DVD. I need that high definition goodness.
You can only get the Blu-ray from Germany for some reason.
Fine, I'll get it on iTunes.
But yeah, that's where I got it. Evil as well, my digital copy. Evil in Us, it's the same thing. It was a labour of love. It was low budget. It was a great first feature, and that's what I think your first features. And that's what Vancouver Badass Festival champions. It champions people who are willing to take the risks, and that's what ties in with the greater stage show. And, you know, Carnival Creeps performances and everything, it's risks. It's like...
Not just Tristan.
Yeah, exactly. Well...
Sorry, it was when you said Carnival Creeps.
Oh, yeah. But David put up a post about it. It was so spot on. Like, Tristan jumping onto the glass at the very end of the performance. It's terrifying. It's risky. It's scary. And that's what most filmmakers face on, like, their first feature and stuff. Is that idea? It's the same mentally. It's the same thing as jumping onto a pile of broken glass. And I just thought that there's no better metaphor. That's how I'm going to close my section of this out. There's no better metaphor for the Vancouver Badass Film Festival than it being a place for people to showcase themselves jumping onto broken glass,
mentally and physically.
For me, to everybody who made the festival amazing, to the Luchagors who partied with us every night, and Gigi who looked after us on our last day before we were going home.
Ice cream!
Amazing ice cream. To Kelly who came all the way from the other side of Canada, and she brought her entourage, Don Petit and a bunch of other people. Thank you so much for coming all the way over to celebrate the Don'ts with us. And obviously that's not the sole reason you were there, but thank you for being there for the Don'ts.
And being a part of that. Again, you know, you came all the way over to Vancouver. You could have done whatever you wanted, but you came to watch our film.
Exactly.
And we appreciate that to no end.
And then, obviously, to the festival organisers, David, Mark, and everybody else involved. As I say, people, the hometown locals like Jason and Michael and Ariel and Topher, to everybody who just makes you feel like part of that film family when you're there. That's what if there was one takeaway I had last year that recurred this year, and I hope you got it, it's such a film family.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
even like watching Time Heals No Wounds and seeing like the different cameos and you know, and seeing the Bad Cookie and Luchagor and stuff, and all the names come up together, and then in Luchagor's one, you know, thanking everyone else. It was
and seeing Topher's name come up,
and cross over. I was like, yeah, man, it's like. That's what it feels like when all the Badgers kind of cross-work with each other. It's cool. And
it really, to me, it shows that as much as I love here, I love Ireland to no end, I feel like we have a long way to go in terms of becoming a stronger film community
Yeah.
that actively supports and works together on things and kind of has that mentality. In Vancouver, the mentality is, I want to succeed, but I also want you to succeed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I just feel so at home whenever I go over there. I'm like, can we just all make stuff together forever?
Can't we all just get along?
So, thank you so much to everybody who's been in any way affiliated with the Vancouver Badass Film Festival.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody we met, everyone who became part of our film family, and everyone who smiled, laughed, joked with us, drank a beer with us, shotgunned a beer with us.
Oh God. Other video that I've sent you about that one.
And basically just thank you for being awesome hosts, and a pleasure to meet every single one of you.
And to anybody who has not been to the Vancouver Badass Film Festival, if you are local, please go. It's in your town and it's amazing. So please, especially if you like genre films, what are you doing? Secondly, if you're not local, if it's something you can go to, if you're a filmmaker, I would strongly recommend you submit your work there and try to attend, because it'll change your outlook on filmmaking.
Definitely. And like with a lot of festivals, you might submit to and hope to kind of hear back and stuff like that. If you can attend, I would highly recommend it. Seeing, like I said, a room full of complete strangers actually interact and, laugh and jump and hoot and holler at your film.
Yeah.
Like even there was a lot of that with the shorts. There was a lot of comedy and a lot of people laughing and getting like gaspy in the same spots.
It's funny though when like certain films where people find something comedic that maybe isn't meant to be, and you could just see the director's like, "Why is everybody laughing at?" And you're like, "But you don't get to decide what the audience reacts to." And we've seen that in the Dome since day one. Every time we screened it, the parts that we were like, "Oh, everyone's gonna laugh so much at this," and nobody laughs, and then part that we thought nothing of, people erupt.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
So that's that.
So thank you to Vancouver Badass. Thank you to everybody watching this. Thank you to everyone.
We love you all. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Hoochie badges for life.
Now to me, what's the story with the red eyes?
He's a vampire.
Awful.
But not one of them shiny Twilight ones.
Is there another pie?
No! The world I don't want to live in.
My vampires sparkle.